Hello everybody, my name is ANDAY. Welcome to another LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising reaction. This is going to be episode 4 of season 2. So last episode we had a lot going on, specifically in the little bit of the lore. It was all about Lloyd's vision, Lloyd wanting to go connect to the Source Dragons to get more information on what he should do. Then he was told that, if he wants to know this specific information and how to defeat the technique of Shadow Speed, that he should seek out an old master. Now, either this was the path that they intended him to go, or they just saw, oh, okay, this master, he knows about how to defeat Shadow Spin, so we're going to send Lloyd to go see him, because he's just one specific one. I don't know if it's like specifically that's what they were gonna do intentionally, or I'm probably explaining this the wrong way. They saw he knows it, so they went to tell him that he knows it. I think. I don't know. I just woke up. So yeah, then they go to the travel there. Then they go to we see the user grapplers, which is really cool. It looks cool, especially with all them swinging and such. Then they went to two tentacle monsters. One was in the caves where we also see Kai's climber mech. It looks great. I kind of wanted it as a set now, and there was that part in the cave which I think it would be classified as Phantasm Cave. That's what that's called. It's cool though. It's pretty cool. That word is just in the general is a cool one. Phantasm. Cool word. And then we got that bit with all the pretty much their biggest fears. Well, not biggest fears, but like their deep interpersonal their worst possibilities. For example, it was Aaron's parents not liking him for what he's been doing. Sora, I guess, getting her energy drained by Beatrix, or just hurt in some way by them. And then Nia seeing Jay forget, which is kind of a oof moment, if you know, you know. Then Lloyd is seeing Master Wu, and then with Roz, both of them go through them on like different levels, saying, you're not good enough to defeat me, and you're not good enough to live up to me. Which that in particular is really, really cool. And I think that was it for them. I can't recall anyone else. But yeah, like there was still a few that we don't even know. We don't see what Wildfire was. We don't see what Ryu was, and we don't see Kai's. Which I'm low key though. Kai's the one that interests me most about all that. But also we see what was caused. It was like some Doom-looking monster with tentacles and was floating. And it looked really cool though. Like a very neat design. I like that design. So then we go. They're running to Egalt. He doesn't have his hat on. He looks bald. But yeah, I said it before, I'll say it again. Depending on how they do him in this show, it will convince me whether to or not to buy his set, because I'm gonna be honest, his design goes hard, his set goes hard. Do I want him as a figure? Maybe, and we'll just have to see. I believe that's all I have. Oh yeah, the Cloud Kingdom. They're gonna take it to a specific place because they said, we can. There's a motor in here actually, so we're gonna go and take the motor and have this part of the Cloud Kingdom go away, which is very interesting. Very curious to see what that leads up to in particular. But we'll find out this episode for sure. So once again, go watch this show on Netflix or on the YouTube channel, I believe. It's on the Legos channel. Go watch it there. Go watch that, do that there. Then come back and watch me watch this. So go do that. Go do that. Then come here and watch me watch this. If you reason why I want to react is because I love Ninjago. I've literally been a fan since 2011, and this is one of the few shows that I currently can react to. So yeah, hasn't been much of a problem unless it's one of the times where they get little unfortunate copyright, but it's fine. If it doesn't upload on YouTube, then I just wait a little bit, and eventually it'll work out. It works out. It's all fine. It's fine. So, yeah. What are you liking about this show? Like, what was your most part? The characters, the action, the villains, that's part of the characters too. The humor, the lore, I can tell you what I like about all that is the lore. I freaking love the lore, man. It's so good, and it's been very consistent too, especially with the past seasons. Like they made out of their way to say, "Oh, we're not gonna change anything. We're just going to add onto past lore. We're not gonna retcon anything, pretty much. Well, except for probably that one Cloud Kingdom thing, but it was a long time ago. Let's be for real. I could keep yawning and keep forgetting to press my button. Anyways, if you would like this video, if you like my other videos, please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what your favorite part of LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising has been. If you know, you're gonna say something that came before this episode. If you say something in the future, that'll spoil me. So don't spoil me, please. All right, thank you. Guess I've talked long enough. Why don't we get in here? So this is LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 2, Episode 4. It does not say the title, but it says a description. We don't have time to read the description. We're just gonna get right into it. So, yeah, let's get into it. In 3, 2, 1, play. Geo.
Cole, you okay? I'm fine, Geo.
Aw. The explainy time, they have to explain everything to the ones they need help from. With, of course, little bits from the founder, not the Finders? What was their name? The Finders, I think. Where they find lost stuff. So, yeah, we got this moment here with Geo saying he misses Cole. Obviously, they're together. It's literally confirmed. Bonzel, she's continues to be great. And the Cloud Kingdom is here. They want her for some reason. I can't think of any reason why, but I don't know. She said she's the keys to something. Maybe she, in her Skulkin past that we still don't know really much of anything about, maybe she knows something about how to help with the Blood Moon. Maybe because it's a resurrection thing and she's kind of a resurrected warrior, maybe? I don't know. She's a Skulkin, right? Skulkins are like... They're like the skeleton people from way back when. Literally the pilots. The pilot episodes. Which we have learned since recently... Well, not even since recently, but like between the pilots, which is 2011, and now, that the Skulkin, specifically them, are warriors who were disrespected when they died. I think I would have to go look up what the actual quote is, but so like yeah, they died without honor or something like that. Something specific. They're like warriors though, pretty much. And Bonzel, she's as Skulkin as you can get, even with the blue eyes. Blue eyes and not even that much of a tunic. She just wears it's like a sweater vest. But yeah, like she's definitely not with the Skulkin of like Samukai. But she's definitely a Skulkin, even if, she has like a hat on too and some bracelets. Well, it's like a bracelet and a ring, pretty much. Well, more so one in her like upper arm and on like her lower arm. Or are they like how is it just rings, I guess? It's the best way to put it. We don't know what qualifies as bracelets, because for Ninjago characters are rings pretty much, because they don't have fingers. Well, unless you're a large creature like a dragon who has fingers. Or probably the Overlord. Yeah, I like how they do establish now, like, they probably can't. They have been just waiting here pretty much for Cole, and they have this little neat photo here. It's very cute. They literally are a family, like, so you're pretty well aware of that. A family, like, Geo, Cole, maybe Bonzel are the adults. I don't know how old Bonzel is, but she's got to be like, I don't know, up there in age, because she's like a skeleton person. Plus she has she doesn't have short legs. So we do see these other dragons here. Of course, we learned that this was all a test. All the way from the fear dragon, from the fear thing, and the leap of faith, and then the fighting, where they have to throw the boulders into the bucket. So we have Rontu and Egalt. They were the forces from the east that destroyed, or at least sent, the Forbidden Five packing. Whether they were died or cursed, sent through whatever it was, the Blood Moon, something like that. In their technique, the Rising Dragon, which, great name, it always ties back to Dragon's Rising. Epic, very epic. Actually, though, cool name. So that's what defeated them. We don't know how. We don't even know what it looks like. I think. Well, maybe we do actually. I don't even. I'd have to go back and compare. But yeah, we do also see here how much cooler Geo's weapons, or his elemental weapons, can be. So for example, he makes like a toaster and a stick into a hammer, along with another thing for okay, the bird formling is Fritz, and the other one is Spitz, I believe. But yeah, it is interesting how they have this being their fight, because, I mean, we don't know for sure, but maybe Hypnoprai have to wait like a certain time before they use their hypnosis powers, or unless they just downright don't have it anymore, or have avoided against it because it would be technically a terrible power to use even after all this time. So like, you know what I mean? Because they were mostly told to be because like they're cool now pretty much. The whole Serpentine and Ninjago factions, like right after season 2, I believe, they were said to be good now, Treaty of Peace or whatever, and they don't really do like stuff against humans out of all their cone of being. We used to be living under the tombs because we were forced down there by humans. So maybe it's because we don't even see any of them use any of their powers since then. Like even since back then, they haven't used their powers of hypnotizing people. And that's exactly why I think maybe it's like outlaw for them now. Like they won't use it because it's too, like it's a too violent of a thing, I think. At least it's my guess. It would make sense. Plus, I don't know, she doesn't have the spirals in her eyes, as you can see right there. She doesn't have little spirals. She just has like regular red eyes, which is neat. It's a good design though. And Fritz here, well, I guess would she be Spitz and he Fritz? I don't know. Their names sound so similar to each other, and I'm surprised they only then found each other in the Land of Lost Things. Fritz here, I would guess he hasn't found his thing or whatever. I'd have to go back and watch that one episode of the Ice Chapter where we learn Akita's backstory, how she was able to unlock her form because she's a formling, or unlock her wolf form. So we don't know if maybe he can't do it yet, or he's still like learning how to do it or something like that. But yeah, like for now, he can't learn how to become either a crow or a penguin. But I would guess a crow because the little things he has on his like shoulders, you know, the little wing pieces, like shoulder pads almost. They look kind of like bird wings instead of just penguin wings. But okay, actually though, you're totally right. I was gonna say, no wait, hold on. A penguin would totally fit the aesthetic of the Never Realm, because it's all icy. Even if Zane wasn't there, it was all like a frozen, not frozen wasteland, but like pretty much an entirely frozen world. So like for him to be here, it would either be crow or a penguin. Actually though, even then, couldn't formlings not become formlings if they don't have their headpiece? Am I remembering that right? Because Akita didn't have hers until right after she unlocked her thing after that really well animated sequence, by the way. So yeah, that is interesting. Also, there's one part here where Geo makes two things, or like a big thing, stick these guys never around. They're literally never getting out. They're stuck there forever. So yeah, we learned that apparently they want it for a reason. And actually, though, we do see Geo making more things, which is cool. I wasn't, and to be honest, I wasn't entirely 100% on board with Geo's power. Like, the idea of fusing things to another thing just makes it sound like, okay, that gets things stuck. That's pretty much it. But when he pulls out the pool noodle chair and actually makes it look pretty effective, like literally, it's like almost like a mace in a way. The pool noodle chair, he said it doesn't work, and that it does. It literally does. Check it out. Ready, boom. On that guy. So yeah, I thought what I thought we would get. Okay, yeah, here we see, yeah, they do take Bonzo specifically. Again, we don't know why. We don't get a clear why, but then we do see Cole show up. He looks so cool. I love that rock form he has. I wish that was a set so badly. I want that a set. So it's kind of like a half and half information episode. We have the explainy things to the dragons, and that's like the lore. That's like catching up on this. That's the story, all right. And then the rest of the episode is about the founders, them having to deal with the wolf warriors and getting them away from the finders, which is interesting. Because again, like, we don't know what for reason they would want Bonzo for. Like, not even what specifically. Because, like, unless she's like a super special Skulkin, we have no idea for what purpose would they want her for. Because, like, what is her deal? And also, blue eyes. Is that like their way of making her design friendlier, I guess? Her design friendlier and looking like, I mean, the obvious is Sans, but just having her have a more clear, like, design for it being a friendlier skeleton? Or is she literally just a different type of Skulkin? So, like, what is she? What is Bonzel? And that's the question for today. What is Bonzel? You go out, you go ask somebody in the street saying, hey, what's Bonzel? And they'll be like, who are you? Why are you asking me about whatever this is? I have no idea. Get away from me. You know what? That's pretty much it. What I thought we were going to get was a epic Roz versus Cole hammer fight. But this was cool too. This was fine. But it does also show that Roz and Jordana, at least, they want to take it easy and not have all the resources spent immediately. At least not on something so trivial as just retrieving a Bonzel. A Bonzel, pretty much. Yeah, and then we have Cole here making a giant earth dome, which the way he forms too is really, really cool. Look at that. Super cool. So we do see, like, I wonder what would have happened though if they did yoink Bonzel and then they just left. Would the fog appear around Bonzel and then, like, blooper back? How would that work? I'm very interested. I would have been super interested to see how that would play itself out. But I guess because we don't really have time for that to be shown. So the other solution is, okay, that's not how it's going to work. But instead, the portal here, which will reassemble the thing, that's how they're going to get them out. Because the portal is different than just walking outside of the Lost Thing land of Lost Things, because it's like a different thing, you know. When you're in these situations, right? Say something's magical, oh, you can never leave because I don't know, fog encompasses you and it leads you back. It's like different because that's like a mystical thing, and a portal. Well, for one, it's kind of it could be both. mystical or technological, but it's more technological in this case because because uh it's like something that's not natural to whatever encompasses this land in this spell that pretty much makes it so anyone who was sent there can never leave. So, like, it's very interesting. And especially with the bread here. Oh, it's probably also more convenient because, at least for the Roz and company, because they don't have to go through all the trouble of figuring out what the heck the Lost Thing Land spell is gonna work. They're just gonna yoink Bonzel now that they're at the monastery, which is probably worse. But at the same time, it's what else can you do? What else can you do? It's probably for the best. At least they found a way to leave actually, because who knows how long they've been there. Well, we do know, like Spitz they probably got there recently, but we don't even know how long Gio's been there. We don't know how long Bonzo's been there. And Nicole only said he found them recently, so like as recent as the merge, which was at least 5 years. Well, I say 5 years, but that's probably like a popular headcanon that somehow I think is truth. But again, we don't know how long it's been. It's at least been longer than 2 years, I would say. But yeah, actually, when they do say, here, we need to find a way to get out here. There is this interesting moment where Bonzo has like a look of uncertainty saying, yeah, we have to leave. Oh, the boundary spell. She removed it. Is that what they're talking about? She removed, essentially, once I remove the boundary spell. Once I remove the boundary spell. Does she mean the boundary spell of the land? Like what's been keeping them? Oh, they literally thought of that. If they were gonna take them, they literally thought of a way of how to undo the boundary thing. Like literally, like actually, that's freaking smart. Actually, though, because it's not just they didn't know the land of lost things had a boundary encompassing it and preventing others from leaving. No, they don't know that. They just weren't aware of this one specific thing that the villains couldn't have figured out in time to enact their plan. But no, this shows they knew that. At least Jordana learned a bunch about it in the arc. Well, actually, the archives, which was said to be having archival knowledge of everything ever. So like, it totally makes sense how they would get that information. And also, we learned what this little orb thing here. It lets them see. It's the orb from freaking. I don't know what movie. The Sleeping Beauty. No, it's Snow White, I think, where they have an orb, and then the evil queen or whatever is looking at it and is like, "Huh, look at you, Snow White. How dare you be more beautifuler than me?" I don't know what else to use for it. I only know that one wizard meme. Like, I'm pondering my orb. Look at this orb I'm pondering. Yeah, that's pretty much the peak of all I know of that. But yeah, but at least we learn what that's about. So we have this here Bonzel. She looks down, like separate from the group, pretty much like separating herself. The way they do this in film, right? I'm no film critic or film knowledgeable person, but I do know it's a way to show that they know something. So Bonzo knows something that she is not sharing, that makes it so like there is something up. So yeah, like it is interesting to see like what could be going on with her that makes her so special to this plan that they have. Like that makes it so interesting. But yeah, she's the key. The key to what? What key is that they preparing? But yeah, they do set up this thing. Okay, if they use the Gong of Shadowing too much, it gets risky to something. We don't know what that means exactly. Do the Wolf Warriors get eventually too out of control? Not controllable anymore, even to Roz? Do they get too feral and become wolf people? Literally, that would be cool. Does the gong literally shatter when it gets struck too hard by this? Hold on. Ooh, I want to get that frame actually. Hold on. Can I pause it right? Hold on. I want to pause it right. Okay. Here we go. That's a good frame. Hold on. Boom. Does the gong get shelf shatter when it gets hit too many times with this very pointed hammer? As a suggestion. So yeah, like it's still very interesting to see whatever could be the reason they want Bonzo for. Whatever could whatever could the reason having her for. Maybe she like knows something on how to do the ritual of the blood moon with this forbidden five. Maybe she knows what to do with that. Maybe she herself was resurrected by the blood moon, but her eyes are blue. Wouldn't her eyes be red for that? I don't know. But we get more info on freaking the dragon couple here, Rontu and Egold, that they were young, like centuries ago, and they took on the Forbidden Five, and took them out. And I like how they do make an effort, like saying if they'll ban. Okay, defeating them, banishing them. Okay, so they were banished elsewhere. I banish you from this life into the afterlife. Ho ho ho. Yeah, she do be making a good point. He's saying, yeah, we literally have to help them, otherwise they'll be back, and they'll surely defeat everyone. Which they say it's a power like I'm not giving them. Which it is interesting. Are they like Oni tier? Are they like Crystal Warriors tier? Are they like the Overlord? What is their power level? Can we get an established power level for these guys? Because for what? For once, we're getting a situation where the enemy is much more powerful than the group. So there's no like limiting thing. Like usually they have Vengestone. Oh, there's gonna be the enemy this time around is gonna be a crew of like pirates, and then the pirates have wish magic or whatever, and they have to be stopped by these ninja who've taken on dragons and serpentine and undead warriors and ghosts and cyborg dragon people. Okay, that doesn't happen yet, to be fair, but from the way I'm phrasing it, it totally has. Anyways, one of my point is they're not making weak enemies to be the fodder anymore. I would say that goes as far as back, like that goes literally just up to the where they said, you know, the Photax from last season, they were literally indestructible from what was said. Indestructible in like Beatrice's mech. It was almost like completely immune to the elemental powers. They don't say how or why, but it was just that tough. Plus, you know, the little way the beam it shoots out whenever she swung her sword, which is cool. That plus the merge gun. There was literally no way of beating that unless they had Sora's very specific power and her power and the Source Dragon conduits for Lloyd. Like they just shows it just goes to show how they're upping the ante extremely much for the new enemies. At least so, you know, they don't have to debuff our characters. Which is honestly, I much prefer that. Make the enemies tougher, not our heroes weaker. Which is technically a little bit of a repeating thing Ninjago has gone through. As you all know, from the very first, like, literally just the first season, they have golden weapons, right? They're the most powerful weapons ever. They literally created the world, created the land. Just created, like, one giant continent on the face of a water planet. And, it pretty much, like, it would destroy anybody who held them all. Except for Gargadon, because he's immune to existence erasure. So yeah, like those were taken away. They couldn't make weapons. They had, they couldn't activate their true potential forms, but they were nearby, which is interesting to however you could interpret that. So yeah, their elemental and then their true forms or their true potentials. And they could do crazy stuff. They could freeze people solid. They could lift giant tons of debris. They could teleport and fly. They could survive a volcano exploding and make a giant like a fire-esque bubble that can safely hold other people in and fly outside of volcanoes. Pretty much just already crazy things. And then after that, well, Spinjitzu is already, a very intricate fighting style that lets you pretty much slow down time around you in a way. Or at least that's how the interpretation of it was for us back then. Yeah, so and then after that, they get the elemental blades. So the elemental blades were pretty much just swords that can cut through indestructible stone and can also shoot out their elements into those blades. So they don't have the true potentials, but they do have the blades now, which is something interesting. And then after that, it was the techno blades. I believe those were classified as like the next level thing, which can let them hack and control any technological device that they come in contact with. And yes, I know that's what it's called. And it also neatly gave them the specific color they would want, except for that one time where Zane used it on Pixel, but didn't use it on any other cyborg or any other Ninjaroid in particular, because it would have been. You think about that and how if you fight this enemy, right? And if you have the blades to do it, you can just turn all of their enemies against them by literally just hitting them one at a time by one of them. You know? That would have been cool. But I guess they didn't think that far ahead. So, what else happens in the season? They go back to the Temple of Light, right? And they gain their elemental powers by Lloyd having to... Okay, this is another thing. Lloyd became God, literally. He has the same power as the FSM. The FSM is the being of divine godness. I'm exaggerating. He was the man who controlled all the elements, literally all of them. Not just four of them is ice, earth, and fire and lightning. It was everything else. So like metal, speed, toxin, smoke, shadows, mind, gravity, and sound, and amber, and what else were there? I'm probably thinking of a good one. Form, also, was an element. So like all of those tapped into a guy who can pretty much destroy or create anybody or create anything he wanted with to do with a landmass, but as well as being part dragon and part Oni, two very powerful things. So yeah, Lloyd had all that power, all of it, and then had to give it up. It wasn't established that much really that he couldn't use it to do things, but it was just the threat of it being absorbed by the Overlord. I don't think it was established that he's gonna get completely drained. He just had to give it up to prevent the Overlord from using more of it. And then they brought back the golden weapons from the meteor via Project Arcturus. With it's because that one goes into a little more complicated time loopy stuff. So essentially, it fused with the weapons from the past and was sent into a meteor, and then was reforged into armor for the Golden Master. Don't ask how that happened. I'm sure you'll probably find much easier explanation than that. So yeah, so that happened. They lost their technical blades, but they now have their elemental powers, which ties into season 4, the Tournament of Elements, where they use their powers freely. And by the end of that season, we see when Zane comes back, he learns how to summon an elemental dragon, and in turn teaches everyone else how to summon elemental dragons. So they now have the power to summon their own dragons made of elements. And then after that, in possession, when Lloyd gets possessed, first of all, it's him getting possessed. He's going to be out the whole season, most of it. And somehow him getting possessed loses makes the others lose their elemental powers from him. So like in a way, sure, Lloyd is powerful on his own, but if they lose their elements, they're like completely powerless against the now possessed Lloyd, who has the powers of Lloyd plus Moro's wind power. So like that is again interesting, or another case of them having to lose their thing. And also, Cole becomes a ghost halfway, so he's like struggling to do with that. He can do things. So he can float. He can be. I can't remember a specific thing where he says I'm intangible, and then everyone just fades through him. Or when he I remember a scene when he becomes invisible though, but somehow is still tracked by heat thing in Skybound, which is like, how does that work? He's a ghost. He's not supposed to have heat. But it's whatever. It's whatever. Oh yeah, the only debuff I could see happening, and oh yeah, the game is Airjitsu. Airjitsu, they learn how to fly. Pretty much all of them. Even though they do have their elements of dragons, but it wasn't a specific fighting style to fly, which is what Airjitsu is. So yeah, they have that now. And then when Skybound rolls around, they don't use them that often. As far as I know, they don't use their Jitsu much. They don't use their Elemental Dragons much. They just kind of, but they are debuffed in their smarts, right? So, you know, like literally, well, it just what it took. So it kind of really just what it took. I wish you go back in that teapot and stay there forever. And you have no way to twist around this wish, which, you know, it really just takes a little bit of thinking to go like, huh, if a genie is the biggest enemy, can I just wish him to not be? You know what I mean? It literally doesn't take much to think about that. But it's fine. That Skybound, it has its problems, right? But it's also still like not, it's not the worst, I think. It's not the worst of anything, but it is still like just a little bit. Just a little bit like, huh, will that really happen? So, and then Hands of Time, they gain the, I don't think they get anything from Skybound. They don't get, most of them just get taken out. In Hands of Time, I admittedly have not seen the whole season, but from what I've heard, right, they can combine their own elemental dragon, so like fire and water. They can combine into a two-headed fire-water dragon, which is admittedly pretty cool. But nothing else happens from there. They gain elemental blades. They don't gain them, but like it's part of the it's part of the plot. And they do have save one. I think it's the reverse blade, the one that can reverse time. It's kept there in Ninjago, and they know where it is. So like, if they wanted to, they could just go find it and then bring it back, saying, "Hey, let's use this for now." So yeah, and Wu's gone. So I would only say the only debuff that happens that I'm personally okay with was when Season 8 came around. You know, the season peak Ninjago, which was Sons of Garmadon, where we see they lose both Airjitsu and their elemental dragons, which, to be fair, we don't get a clear explanation of, but it's not like they were necessarily missed, to be honest. Like, I'd rather see them do ninja stuff, which they do in this season very well. They do infiltrations, they do sneaking around. Very good hand-to-hand combat, especially in that season in particular. They don't really gain anything, but they do lose. When Lloyd literally almost dies, he has to have his power sacrificed in order to save his life, while the ninja gets sent to other realm, the first realm. So yeah, and then the next season, they don't really lose anything, but Lloyd gets his powers back at the end. And then the next season, Arch of the Oni, they get their elemental powers back, and they do something. They do tornado curation. Okay, so tornado curation is something that went way back, even to the pilots back, where they can create something out of nothing, where they can use objects around them and make it into something. So like a giant slingshot, a carnival. They didn't really do much like that this time around. They just use it to defeat the embodiment of Satan's, which was cool. And then the next season they got a staff that had the power of a forbidden spijitzu, pretty much that made them more powerful but more corruptible, like more angrily lashing out. And the next season, a Prime Impera, Jade kind of got a dragon for a little bit. Other than that, not much happened. They gained new suits though, the Digi suits, which is it's unclear if they can use them in the real world now, or like they're just gone forever because it's part of Prime Empire. But you also get the digital blades inside the Prime Empire, which were very cool designs. And then the next season, Master of the Mountain, we learned that I think it was coal specifically. I'm not too sure, but the deeper you are in your elements, the more powerful you can use, more powerful you can become in it. Even unlocking the Spinjitzu Burst, which was a huge, gigantic tornado made of rocks, and then was able to have him destroy a skull that had the power to resurrect a million different warriors, including a giant skeleton dragon, which is very cool. But yeah, like that was an explainable power to not be able to use next time. Oh, I didn't even mention Cole's lava arms. He had lava arms that he's able to use, right? And they made him more powerful, essentially. Like, he was able to break a lot of good stuff with it. Except when he's not, for some reason. But it does look cool. So, there's no issue there. And then, Seabound. This is a big one. We learn that Nia is a lot more powerful than she leads on. She can communicate with sea life. She can sense water from far away, I believe. She can, like, make stuff go crazy. She's connected in a way to Wohira. Or Wojira, however it's pronounced at the time. Because a previous water elemental master, Niad, was able to become one with the sea and become essentially like just a being of water that cannot die, that can regenerate, and that can always be alive as long as there is water in the earth. Or at least water in existence. But yeah, like she was powerful enough to destroy Wojira with slamming herself. She's able to shapeshift into a giant dragon. She's able to fly. She can bounce on her own water constructs, which that was a very good scene. Well, at least that was before she became one with the sea. So when she does that, they say it cannot be reversed, which makes sense because they've never found a way to do that. And in the next season, Crystallize, that was reversed because of Chronosteel. Or not even Chronosteel, it was worse because of the Spirit Staff. Which it makes sense, to be honest. And as for debuffs, well, they still can't do things, but they can go into Dragon Mode. Dragon Mode, which happens... It's kind of specific. It's where only when 5 armies are assembled, they can do that. But to me, at least, I feel like they could do that anytime. They just don't have to have... They just don't know that they can. Because technically, it was specific, but it wasn't like the requirements had to be met for them. Like, there was nothing physical. Like, we don't even know if Lloyd can do this. And speaking of Lloyd, he unlocks, in a way, Oni form, which is rumored to be much more powerful than what he could do before. Well, not even... It's like lower tier than first Bujutsu Master form, but definitely up there in terms of destruction. Like, he was able to hurt and make the Crystal King, the Overlord, literally just in fear of him. And even hurt him. Like, even more than what Garmadon was doing. Speaking of Garmadon, he was kind of just pretending to be died so Lloyd can unlock that form. Plus, I feel like, they make it very clear that if it wasn't for Lloyd's self-confidence, he very much could have won. He very much could have won against the Overlord. And then, that's pretty much it. Then Lloyd doesn't have Oni form anymore. I would suspect that he can use it still. He just doesn't have to. Or doesn't want to. It's like a self-limiting thing. Plus, like, if he does use it, like, who knows what could happen. They could put a good, not a debuff, but like a reason why he's not going to use it. They could say, hey, if he uses Oni form again, he might go out of control and start rampaging through everything. So, like, that's a good buff. That's a good debuff, I think. Like, it's explanational because, he's not used to it, and he wouldn't want to have to accidentally hurt his friends, especially with something that powerful. plus, like, how can they have something like that be focused on the mission and stop whatever bad guy there is? Okay, I've gone way too far in my rant about Ninjago losing their powers. But yeah, if you think about it and if you scale them up all together, the ninja from Ninjago are much more powerful than you would think for little Lego guys. So yeah, all this happens. They use a portal to get out, which makes sense. But we don't know. Maybe the portal also works because they managed to apply the reverse bounding spell. So who knows what that is specifically. And we don't know what specifically, like, if that was to be that yet. So, like, yeah, it is interesting. And yeah, I love this so much. It was so quickly, and they didn't explain it, but look at that Ferriki plush. That is so cute. I wonder if this means they're gonna go out and sell them. I like the little heart thing on there too. That's adorable. Very adorable, very cool. So yeah, they will follow, and by they, of course, Roz means wolf people, which I guess it would make sense. They're not gonna show us a Roz versus Cole fight this early. They're gonna save that for later. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be cool, and I'm not crazy for saying that's definitely gonna happen. All right. So anyways, I kind of ranted on too long for this time again. What did you all think of this episode? Do you all like it? Do you all like it as much as me? If you have, please let me know. So, anyways, my name is ANDAY. This has been LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 2, Episode 4. Let me know what you all think in the comments below about this episode. Do you like it as much as me? Probably not as much as me, but it's good to hear if you do. Anyways, my name is ANDAY. This has been LEGO Ninjago. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. Wait, did it press play?